welcome back to Lights Out with Ish and Eve. Obviously, this morning we had the F175
Live
event,
at the O2.
live at the O2, and we thought we'd talk about it.
Yeah. Well,
So-
originally we were going to just like rate the liveries.
Yeah,
But
but then
then
so much happened.
The event was the event and the liveries were all basically the same.
as per.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about just the whole event. Our structure to this, we don't have one. So we're just going to chat. Who knows? Will it be an episode? Will it just be a YouTube video? We don't know.
Yeah,
So,
we'll see.
Whatever
But
comes
I
out
feel
of it.
like we might talk about just our overall thoughts, and then we'll go through maybe the
cuts
the
and the
cuts.
teams.
Yeah. Okay, well, judging by your reaction when I said F175, I feel like you
I've got things to say.
have thoughts.
I do.
All right.
Obviously, the event was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. And it was really well done. Like, the production was insane.
Yeah.
Like, everything looked like it was really well done. Obviously, all the drivers at their table, stuff like that. Like, I feel like it was a really well run and really well put together event.
Yeah.
I just think it's completely unnecessary. Like, it felt like a movie premiere. Like, what's going on? Like,
It
what?
literally felt like the F1 Oscars. Like when
Yeah.
Jack Whitehall was doing his like opening monologue and like roasting
get there.
various drivers. We'll get there.
hilarious.
So funny. But I was like, this is the Oscars. This is
Yeah.
the Grammys.
And I just think, like, yeah, obviously it's very tailored towards newer fans. And, like, I am a newer fan, but,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just, like, I'm like, why is this necessary?
Yeah.
It's just a bit odd. I'm like, this is a sport. Like, at the end of the day, it's not a movie. It's not a show. It's not, like, they do that sort of thing for awards night, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed very like Hunger Games opening ceremony. And I was like, it's just completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
It
get
was
what you
cool.
mean. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Like, what other sport are we doing that?
Totally. I get that.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I knew you would love it.
I was skeptical going in.
Yeah.
I was very much like, what, like, why does this need to
Yeah.
be in a stadium? But I also understand the, like, idea of, you know, honoring the 75 years and, like, it's definitely not something that should happen every year.
But I think it's going to happen every year.
I don't think it will.
Really?
I don't think it will. I think maybe on, like, the 80th and maybe the 85th and the 90th.
That's like a lot.
Totally.
Every
but-
5 years after not doing it until 75.
Yeah, totally. But it's also like had a huge amount of global growth. And I think
Yeah.
like F1 as a sport has kind of transcended just, you know, showing up for the races. Like
Yeah.
it's become such its
Spectacle.
own entity. Yeah.
I know, but that's what I'm kind of like, I don't know, because I feel like it takes away from the core of the sport. You know?
I get that.
Like, it's so showboaty.
Yeah.
And I'm like it's cool. Like, they looked great.
Yeah.
It looked like an amazing event.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, what the fuck does this have to do with car racing?
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
I think in a sport where there is so much money involved,
Yeah.
like this feels like a very natural progression, which is weird, but it also, from a marketing point, makes sense.
Yeah, I know. And, like, I get that, and I can see, like, how they've ended up here.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know if that's the right direction to take it.
Yeah.
Like, I can see how that is marketable and that is the way that the path that they're going.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you continue down this path and you keep taking this sport away from the essence of itself, you're going to lose drivers who just want to drive
Yeah.
and just care about, like, pure competition, sports, don't really care about the rest of it. Like a Max Verstappen.
Yeah, totally.
You're going to lose drivers like that.
Yeah.
And then the sport, if you, like, I'm talking, like, years down the track. I'm not talking, like, in the near future. I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, years on, like, 20, 30 years on. If they continue down this path, the drivers probably aren't going to be as good
Yeah.
because it's just going to attract
drivers will
The
get picked
people
on
that wanna
sort of
be-
marketability rather than...
talent.
Yeah.
And, like, the personalities of the drivers is going to be people who want to be celebrities,
Yeah.
not want to be athletes
Yeah.
and race car drivers.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be race car drivers.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to just,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
No, I think that's a
Yeah.
really good point.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like, the event was cool. I really enjoyed watching it. But I think also, like, there was barely anything was to do with the actual fucking cars.
Totally.
Like, the cars were, like, rolled out and rolled back in, and we heard 2 words. Like,
Yeah.
that Alpine DJ was on the stage for longer than Lewis Hamilton.
Do you know who the Alpine DJ was?
No.
Brian Tyler, who did the F1 theme song.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
they didn't make that very fucking clear.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They should have, but they didn't.
I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, but he's the guy that...
And he played for about 11 years.
Yeah.
was
Like
like-
the whole... Yeah, he did the whole 10 minutes. Every team had 10 minutes, and he did the whole...
That felt like about an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian Tyler. But, like, we're there for a livery launch.
Yes. That being said, though, coming back to the, like, 75 years and honouring that, it did feel like it was a bit of an ode to F1 and,
Yeah.
like, all of the reels that they played of, you know, the history of the sport and...
It was
you know,
great. We needed more of that.
Yeah, like, I loved watching all that, like,
Yeah.
the historical footage, the rivalries, you know,
Yeah,
clips,
absolutely.
even, like, the funny little, like, compilation of, like, funny moments from last year.
Yeah.
Type thing. Like, that was great. Loved
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So it did, I feel like, lived up to the, you know, celebration of it being 75 years.
Totally.
As well.
Yeah.
It was funny seeing, like, all the older drivers and, like, Sir Jackie Stewart and stuff, like, sort of sitting at the table together being like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, and I did love watching that, and it was really cool actually to see, like, what all of the teams came up with for their, like,
Yeah.
presentation.
It was like each team's sort of their ode to their own history.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the time. Which,
Yeah.
or if not their history, then, like, where they want to go in the sport for, like, the younger teams. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
liked that.
Yeah.
I felt like the event also sort of knew what it was in a way. Like, it did poke fun at itself. Like, so Jack Whitehall was great.
I loved that. I loved him. He was great.
He nailed it. He nailed the brief. Like,
Yes.
and
I love that he just, like, did not give a fresh fuck, like, about the, like, I was going to say the image of the sport. Obviously, he cares about the image of the sport.
Yeah.
But first thing he said was like, oh, lucky Max Verstappen didn't get sat next to George Russell.
I know.
Whoa!
As soon as that happened, I was like, oh.
I was
okay.
like, oh my word. Okay. All right. But also, like, who was he talking to later on? I can't remember. It was one of I think it was Adriana Bravo. And he was, like, saying some dumb shit, and she was literally like,
I know. I think that was the bit. It just didn't, like, work.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was meant to be that way. It just didn't work.
yeah.
But, like, yeah, I think he absolutely nailed it. Like,
Yeah.
all of his jokes were actually really good. Like, even, like, joking about Martin Brundle, like, wanting
Yeah.
him to be James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, talking to Gordon Ramsay about the swearing.
Loved
was
that.
so
Because
funny.
I was like, there's no way Gordon Ramsay's not going to say that this is stupid. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to rip into it. And he's
Yeah.
not going to give a fuck.
And he didn't.
No.
It was great.
It was great.
I loved it. Even, like, the comments to, like, Toto about, like, Lewis leaving and being like, the worst nightmare is, like, your partner of so
Yeah.
long, like, leaving for you for an Italian. Like,
That was funny. I didn't quite so much like his comments to Charles.
he did it too much. He could have, like,
I know.
done it once.
And I was
moved
like,
on.
this man just gets sexualized day in, day out. You don't have to put him on blast like that.
I know. He
And-
could have said it once and it would have been funny, but, like,
yeah.
he kept coming back to it.
Constantly, and, like, crossed, like, I feel like he was just, like, too much.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this man gets that enough.
I know.
He knows.
I know.
He's heard. He's on TikTok.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I felt it because then they were, like, showing Charles and he was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, God. Did you see Charles and Lewis playing online
I
chess?
did! That was so funny.
That was really funny.
It was very, like, oh, well, they're clearly settling in well together as teammates.
I was also thinking of like that video of him and Carlos playing chess on the plane,
I
and I was like,
oh, he's found another chess partner.
replaced.
I know, so sad. I thought another thing that was crazy was the booing that occurred, both for the FIA and Christian Horner.
It was
when
me.
he got on that.
I'm just kidding.
No, but like particularly the FIA one, like they got like one shout out, and it was just the whole stadium.
Laura Winter knew what was going to happen though. Like when she
like,
said it, she was like, her voice changed when she said like the FIA. Like she knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Or she just knew that it would be a contentious topic.
Totally.
But also, I loved that.
Yeah. And then obviously, Christian Horner, when he started, he sort of got a bit of cheers and a bit of boos. And he like almost went to say something. He was like,
I didn't notice that.
Is this? And then he was like, anyway. And he like kept, and
he was probably going to make some like snarky comment and then thought better of it.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, good job.
Personal growth. No, I like missed a lot of things like that. For context, I was on my commute to work like this. Like, so some things I would have missed.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was like doing my makeup in the morning, like watching it.
Yeah, I was too. And then like I had to leave and,
get to work.
But, what was I going to say? Oh my God, yeah. Like even before because I put it on a couple minutes early.
Yeah.
And like when the theme song was on, I was like, oh, I've missed this.
I know. I was like, chills. It was so good. And I think that was the other thing with this event. It's like, you know what? Like, whether you liked it or not, you thought it was cringe or not, like, just having some F1 content in February.
So good.
Love it.
So good.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyways, all the teams, like, their liveries were very much the same. Jack Whitehall made a joke about that too.
At the start, he made a joke about it before it even happened.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, the tributes that the teams made to sort of like their heritage and things like that were very cool as well. Should we get into the teams, or did you have any other things to say? Cool. So first cab off the rank was Steak.
Yes.
And because they had the like drummers and stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't, because no one knew what to expect and like what was going to happen when they revealed the cars. I was like, whoa.
I was like, is this like what's happening for all of them?
Yeah.
Are they going to do like this sort of thing for everyone? And then like,
yeah.
Well, how's it going to work? Because I knew also that they would draw it out. They're not
totally.
just
They're not just going to like, here you go.
Next.
Yeah.
Like I knew it would be kind of long.
Yes. So obviously the livery, very similar to last year. It was more of like a green fade than like blocky sort of stripes.
I like
and
it better.
Me too. I was a fan.
I just don't like the highlighter green.
I love it.
I can't wait to see it kicking around in P20 this year.
Yeah, I know.
I can't wait to see that bringing up the back of the grid.
I know. I think I love it less this year. Even though I like the car design more, I love the bright green less, because I feel like, at least for this event, all the other teams have done a very like colourful livery. It wasn't just a lot of carbon fibre, whether or not that stays.
Yeah.
Post, if they all roll out at testing and they've all stripped back the paint for the weight, we'll see. But like, I think last year when they revealed the fluoro green, it was like very impressive because so many teams there was so much black.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see a team do that. Whereas this year it was more the same.
Yeah.
But I did really like their message of their video that was like all around like working really hard to kind of, set themselves up for the future, and obviously like
when they get taken over. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they will probably still end up.
I fear.
P10.
Yes.
The constructors.
Yes, I fear. Anyway, it was nice to see the drivers as well, across the board.
Totally.
It's just nice to see them all again. I was like, hey guys, missed you. And like to see Bortoletto out and about. Yeah. Anyway.
I feel like I've never heard him speak really before, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like, hey bestie, welcome.
But yeah, that was Steak. Anything else?
No.
Nice. Then we had Williams come out. I loved how much Jack Whitehall frothed over James Vowles.
So random.
So funny though.
He talked about James Vowles the way that James Vowles talks about Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, literally. Also, when like "What's Up Danger" was like their song to come out, I was like, "This is hype! Like, let's go!"
Yeah.
Of course, they had to do like the selfie as well.
Yes.
They got on stage.
Delivery, the fucking same. Like, like a lot of them we say it's the same and it's like slightly different.
Yeah.
Genuinely, actually the same.
Yeah. Yeah. The big old Duracell, they basically just added
I love the
Atlassian.
Duracell.
Me too, I love the Duracell so much.
Marketing genius.
Yes.
We love.
Agree. But yeah, I think they've pretty much just slapped a big old Atlassian on there for their new title
It's got a little
sponsor.
gradient. It's a bit darker at the
Yeah.
front and then it kind of fades. It's the fucking same. Let's
It's
move on.
basically the same. Yeah.
Unless you have anything else to say about
the
Carlos Sainz.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to say is I don't love the white race suits. I kind of wish they were blue. I don't really have any reason for that, but I was just like, I feel like they would both look better in blue.
Fair.
I
think Carlos looks better in
opinion.
red. Anyways, let's move on to V-Carb.
Yes, the like one team that did something different.
And it's so good. I love it.
I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's so fresh.
Yep.
So crisp.
Yep. I'm a
love
fan.
that.
I'm a fan.
Do you know what fucking sent me into the next dimension? When Jack Whitehall was like, "Short Kings assemble."
Dude, their whole video was so good of like
the person running. I was like,
running
I
around. I know. But it was so funny and like I think at one point he was like, "Oh yeah, like our drivers are tall, like they're 6 foot."
On top of it,
Combined,
just combined.
It's so funny.
True though.
I know. I did love how it's literally looking at the V-Carb livery in white and the Red Bull livery in the dark navy.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like the exact same livery. But like, you know how on a browser you can make it like
Dark
light
mode.
or dark mode? That's literally what it is.
I work in email marketing. Dark mode is my nemesis. So
Next up was Haas.
I loved their like American themed like video.
They just really leaned into it.
I love that, as they should.
Yeah.
I
Agree.
mean, yeah, we slander the Americans a lot.
Yes.
Us being Australians.
Yeah. I was like, we didn't really talk about them on the
No,
podcast. But
like
just
Australians.
in life.
And Brits, I feel, as well.
Yes.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
And I liked...
They've kind of gone a bit more light mode too.
Yeah.
Just lots of white around the outside.
It kind of looks like the same, but just like inverted where the white was and the black was. It's kind of swapped around. But I think their suits look really good.
Yeah.
I think that they looked good in their suits. I think that suits them. I mean, white and black and red.
It's hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
It's a very easy combo.
Yeah.
Next up was Alpine.
They were different. They actually went a different direction.
Yeah.
Well.
So, I mean, it was similar, but like...
Again, it was mainly blue and pink rather than black and blue with a bit of pink.
Yes,
which
exactly. I loved the like metallic dark blue. I loved how much of it was painted. Like it was so pretty.
Yeah, it looks
So
a lot
pretty.
more. It pops so much more.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram post and it was all the teams like last year and this like
Yeah,
comparing. Because at the time I was like, I wish they'd made it more pink. But then I saw the comparison and I was like, oh damn, like that looks so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, their like performance with Brian Taylor.
Well, now that I know that he's the guy that wrote the intro, it makes it better. But I was like, I don't, like they could have talked about like their history and like Renault and like all of that.
Yeah. I mean, they might not have talked about Renault because they don't want to like bring
associate
another
with
brand into
Renault.
it, but like they would still
Just like, but it's like their team history. They don't
Yeah.
have to talk about Renault, but like,
totally,
you know.
yeah. But anyways, we obviously didn't see Franco Colapinto there,
No.
but apparently there was a lot of stuff about him in the media kits that all the press got. And so yeah, I mean, some teams had their reserve drivers there, some didn't, but I thought it was interesting that he wasn't there but was in the press kits.
Yeah.
Like-
it's like they're trying to publicly take him out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But still very much
internally be like, no, like make sure you know, like.
Yeah, because then I also saw interviews of Jack Doohan talking about it.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh.
Poor guy.
I
He was
know.
like, obviously it adds pressure, and he was like, well, last year I was a reserve driver with a long-term contract, so like it doesn't mean that he's going to be replaced. But
Yeah.
obviously he can't be like, yeah, I'm pissed that they're going to replace me.
Oh, of course.
so
just has
he
to
said
be
what he
like-
had to say.
Yeah,
but
no,
like
100%.
you could tell I was just like, oh.
I know, I felt really bad. He was sort of like up there and was like, like, thank you so much for having me. I'm like really enjoying tonight. I was like, oh. I was like, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, so loved Alpine's
Livery. Yes.
Next up
Aston.
This was maybe my favorite team intro. Whoa, do you think differently?
No, I came around to it in the end. At the start, I was like, what the fuck is that?
Why?
Just like, it just looked weird. I'm like in the boats with the helmets. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I understood the theme and then like the music and then they came in from the crowd and I was like, okay, no, this is cool.
Yeah.
At the start, I was like, what's going on?
I mean, I figured once I kind of understood the theme and like what each team was doing, I was like, okay, Aston Martin's definitely going to do James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
Yeah.
See,
See, I didn't put that fucking together for so long.
But
have I seen James Bond? No.
Really?
I haven't seen anything.
Wow.
We know this about me. But it
Yeah,
shocks
but,
everyone
like-
every time I the depths that movies I haven't seen goes.
Yeah. I'm a little bit like that, but maybe not quite that as bad as you.
I'm like horrific. Me and my siblings were so bad.
Fair.
Haven't seen anything.
But I loved the animation style was
Yeah.
so cool. I was watching it like this is beautiful. I was like,
Yeah.
if they made the F1 movie like in this animation style,
Slay.
I'd be happy. Like it was so cool. Absolutely just no notes.
Yeah.
On their intro. Loved
Yeah.
it. Them
No,
walking out in their suits
That
with
was
the helmet
cool.
on.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. At the start I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I clocked and I was like, oh.
Fair. Yeah. No, I loved it. Obviously the car was
Exactly
Aston
the
Martin
same.
green and exactly the same.
Yeah.
I did love Fernando being like, well, now you've seen the best car, so
Yeah.
enjoy the rest of your night. You can all go home.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, slay girl. I love when Fernando pops out shit like that. Because he's so like mellowed out these
Yeah.
days. Not saying that he's not still a great driver, but like he's just
He's a bit more in the background. a
young
bit more
Fernando
quiet.
Alonso was like,
Yeah.
and now he's just kind of like,
He's chilling.
and when he comes out with shit like that, I'm like, so, welcome back, bestie.
I know. I don't know if you clocked this, but
Probably not.
but after Aston did their reveal, they had someone come out to do a performance. I didn't know any of the performers.
Yeah.
But they had someone come out and their song like was all about like the chorus they kept saying like, oh, like I'm waiting for you. And I was like, if this isn't Aston Martin with Adrian Newey. It's like waiting for you,
please. Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah.
Then we had Mercedes.
I thought that they slayed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really liked their intro. I feel like they did a good job at recognizing their history and, you know, all of their accomplishments in F1 without it being just solely Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah,
either.
completely agree. But also, like, why is that?
Yeah.
Because he's just left. I'm like, I agree. But also, I feel like if Lewis was still at the team, it would be different.
Oh, of course. It'd be
Yeah.
like all about Lewis.
Yeah.
But like, I think they had to make a concerted effort for it to not be and to look towards, you know, the future and
Yeah.
the team and blah, blah, blah.
There was a lot of points made about George now being, like, the lead driver.
Yeah, a lot of people like said that multiple times.
Yeah.
Which is true,
Yeah.
obviously, but weird that they've like been making such a point about it.
Yeah. It's like, well, like, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's not, like, a crazy thing. Like,
No, I know.
I love the livery.
Yeah,
super
Once again,
sleek.
very similar to last year, just the silver and black.
Yeah. With the little green trim.
Yeah, it's cute.
I just think it's nice colours. And it
Yeah.
looked super sleek. Love it.
Agree. I think as well, like, part of the reason that I think teams don't just like keep changing their liveries all the time is because like it's also just like brand
colours.
consistency.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
and like creating a livery that's memorable and like defines
Recognisable.
kind of that era of, you know, driving and
Totally.
the team and the regulations and all that. So like I do get it, even though it'd be like really fun
If
to
you
have
switched
like
up the design.
a totally different thing every year.
Yeah.
I feel like I very much understand.
Yeah.
From a branding point
Yeah,
of view,
of course.
not doing that.
Like brand colors and like, yeah, consistency. You want to be recognizable. You want people to see your car and be like, yeah, that's the Mercedes.
yeah, exactly.
Without really.
And even like that's Mercedes from that era. You know, like
Yeah. Like that is Lewis Hamilton's 2018 Mercedes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Then
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Red Bull First of all, when it was just Christian Horner came out and was talking, I thought he was just going to talk.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to do anything. And I was like, bitch.
Yeah.
But then they played the thing and I was like, okay, slay. But
Yeah.
I did think for a moment, I was like, is Christian Horner just going to talk?
Yeah.
And that's their whole thing.
Yeah.
But that obviously
That
isn't
was not
what
what
happened. And it
happened.
was this whole like, it reminds me of Australians may know, like the KO Get On Board campaign.
Yes. So true. They're all like dancing through the street.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of when they were like, come follow the Red Bull truck. Like, it's like the KO, like, get on board.
It literally is. That's so funny.
And then they all pulled up, like, dancing.
Yeah.
That was Charlie XCX's Grammy performance. Max looked really he just did not look like, slay.
Yes.
The most un-Max Verstappen thing ever.
Totally.
He was
Having
like-
a whole crew of background dancers.
Yeah.
Behind him was
Yeah.
like, and even Liam was also like, what is going on?
Bro.
Also, did you see Liam's outfit choice? Everyone was in suits. Everyone was dressed
Suited and booted.
so formally. Bro rocks up in like a flannel.
And, like, jeans.
Yeah.
Go off. A choice.
It was a choice, but it was almost like he didn't get the memo about there being a dress
But, like,
code.
who approved that?
Totally.
Like, Red
Like,
Bull, like,
Red Bull would have
AlphaTauri,
stylists.
or, like, whoever their people are.
They'd have stylists.
Yeah. And brands.
Yeah. A little bit bizarre.
Hilarious.
So funny.
I think
Because
it's
it was
really funny.
only him.
Yeah. So funny.
So
Anyway.
funny. Obviously Red Bull, same livery.
I
Once again.
actually dared to dream that Red Bull might switch up their livery because Max said that he hoped it would be different. And we know that Red Bull
True.
likes to do what Max wants.
True.
So I let myself hope that Red Bull.
And you were let down.
Yeah. But was I surprised? No.
Yeah. The Willany Instagram story you sent me was so funny. It was just like, it was just a shot of the Red Bull livery with just, please be shit, please be shit, please be
And
shit,
I was
please
like,
be
I
shit, please
saw
be
it,
shit.
and I was like, yeah, completely agree.
That was very funny.
Me acting like I wouldn't agree with anything that Willany says.
Then we had Ferrari.
Yes.
So first of all, obviously, Lewis's first public appearance in red, very exciting, very cool, made it feel very real.
Mm-hmm.
When they started their, like, intro, I almost, like, expected a little bit more in terms of, because obviously it's Ferrari, and
Yeah.
they have just the depths of the earth of history to
yeah.
draw from.
They are F1 history. Like,
Yeah. And then and they obviously they had a bit of, like, you know, the stuff about Enzo Ferrari and stuff in the beginning, but as it, like, sort of went on, the more I watched it, I was just like, you know what, like, it's almost like their, like, aura is so big that they don't even need to kind of, like, talk about it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows all of their legacy within F1. So it was kind of cool to just do, like, that evolving car graphic
yeah, and then
through the years and then just bring them out.
bring them out. Yeah,
Which-
but I think, like, also part of the reason was probably because of the Lewis thing. Like, they want stage time.
Yes.
They want that boy in the spotlight.
Yes, true.
I think it was really funny that, like, Charles hadn't seen the livery. He was like,
yeah.
nice.
Hello?
What did you think of the livery?
I liked...
But that white bit, that's new.
Yeah, it is new. I know a lot of people don't like it. I like it.
When I first saw it, I was like, that's hideous. And then I literally, about 2 minutes later, I was like, nah, it's sick.
Yeah.
It's just the HP logo.
I know, because it's like a
Blue.
big blue and it just contrasts with the red.
Yeah.
But you
The
know
actual
what?
white,
Someone's gotta
like,
pay Lewis's
slash,
salary.
I actually really like.
Me too.
So,
I think
did
it's
you
cool.
say someone's got to pay for Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah.
So true. Correct.
So, you know, it is
Yeah.
what it is. But yeah, I was a fan.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Slay.
not a lot Ferrari can really do. They just have to
No.
bring out a red car and everyone will
Yeah.
be happy.
Yeah,
So,
correct. I mean, the day that the HP logo's gone is the day that everyone will rejoice.
true.
But, as you said, someone's going to pay for Lewis Hamilton.
yeah.
Then
McLaren.
that's my championship car. It's exactly the same.
It is. And Andrea Stella was even like, we wanted to honor last year's, like, championship winning car, so
Yeah.
we've made it the same.
But also, like, it's exactly what you just said of, like, the era.
Yeah.
It's like McLaren are like, this is potentially their era.
Yeah, 100%.
So they want to have a car
that's going to be remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So makes complete sense that they wouldn't change it.
Totally.
I did love their test livery. Their
the
camo livery
was very cool.
But also, I'm like, as soon as you pepper sponsors across that, it's just going to look messy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it only looked cool because it was like...
just the camo.
Yeah.
100%.
But, like, it would have been really messy, like, once they whack all the sponsors on there.
Yes, agree. I loved their, like, lineup of all their, like, you know, historic
Yes.
like, championship-winning cars over the years.
that was
and
really
then leading
cool.
up to the most recent one.
Did you
which was very
see
cool.
the video of, like, Oscar and Lando before they went out onto the stage and they were behind? Chattiest I've ever seen Oscar. Bro was clearly nervous. He was like, I feel like Lightning McQueen before he goes out of the back of the truck. He was like,
I am speed.
yeah, no, I like didn't watch the whole video because I was like doing something at work. But obviously I'm like Oscar Piastri video. I'm like, hello.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was like I feel like Lightning McQueen before the back of the truck opens at a race. I was like,
so funny.
are you Liam Lawson?
Yeah.
Have you guys been talking cars? What's going on? Anyway.
Love. Anyways, and then they kind of wrapped up the event bringing all of the drivers out with all their cars and
See,
lining them up.
I didn't see that
Oh,
because
okay.
I got to work.
True.
I had to turn it off.
So, yeah, so they finished up by, like, lining up all the cars on the stage in grid order. Like,
That's
they were
giving
starting-
Hunger Games.
It was. It really was. But it was cool because they, like, put them in their grid slots. So, like, of where they, you know, finished last year.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was, like, Carlos down the back in P9 looking up and seeing the Ferrari up in P2. I was like, yeah, that's gotta hurt.
A little bit. I feel like he's come to terms with it now.
Oh, absolutely. But just being, like, visually reminded
Yeah, about how far he's
how
gone
far back you're going to be starting compared to where you were.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think overall though, like, I was finished watching that and was like, is it much yet? I'm so hyped.
I
for the
know.
season.
Even as I, like, just like seeing the drivers again
I know.
and just like hearing them interviewed like fresh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, slay.
Yeah. It's just fresh content.
Oh, literally. Is that the end? Do we have anything else to talk about?
I think that's the end.
I'm so excited.
Oh, actually, there was one other thing. So obviously they played the F1 movie trailer. Well, not the trailer, but they played like a behind the scenes, here's how it was made type clip. I'm very hyped for this movie. I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah.
But have you heard about the leak for the storyline a little bit?
Was this with the love interest?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for those who don't know, and spoilers for anyone that doesn't want to know, but basically they've found out that part of the storyline is that Brad Pitt, who's the main character, main driver, gets together with one of his, like, female race engineers. And it's really just like, oh. Like, part of me gets it in the sense of, like, a love story is always, like, a good...
Don't make it the fucking engineer. It's just
I
like...
know. There's just no need for it to be the engineer. Because it's just, like, the amount of... As a woman, the amount of, like, you know... stigma there is around women who, like, date more powerful men or men in higher places to kind of move their own careers up.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot. And it's just, I think, a little bit disappointing if that is going to be a major kind of plot point.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't know if it is.
It's
but
like, let the girls be fucking engineers
yeah.
with nothing to do with any sort of love interest.
Yeah. Like, they're just
And
there
it
because
doesn't help-
because they're there.
And they like that that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the thoughts that go around and the comments that fly around on social media of, like, girls just want to be in F1 for the hot drivers.
Yeah.
It does not help that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit like, there's just no need.
I know.
Put a love interest in, great.
Yeah, cool. Make it anyone else.
Not the fucking engineer.
I know. But I am really hyped for the movie. Like,
Yeah.
it looks really cool. And I'm very excited to see, like, all the little cameos, because I'm sure all the
I
drivers
think
will
it's
be
going
in
to be
it.
really
I'm
weird
sure.
to watch.
I think it'll be weird to watch too, but I'm also excited for it.
Because it's just going to be weird. Like, imagine it's just, like, Brad Pitt, like, coming out of this, like, crazy race, and then it's just like, oh, there's George on the podium.
Yeah.
For, like, someone who's actually an F1 fan, which most of the people watching the film are going to be F1 fans.
Totally.
So I just feel like it's going to be really weird.
Oh,
to be
totally.
like,
It'll be weird, but I'm excited for it.
it's like I watched this season and that's not what happened. Like, having seen them film when Charles Leclerc was, like, in an emotional breakdown in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And having to stand on the podium again and actually film
Yeah, like,
the movie.
you have context for, like, when that was filmed and, like,
Yeah.
what was actually happening
Yeah, exactly.
to that
That's why
person
I'm
at
just
the time.
like,
yeah.
It'll just be weird. It's like, that's not what happened at Silverstone.
Yeah. Oh, so funny.
If you enjoyed listening, give us a 5-star review because it really helps us out. Thank you. And if you're watching on YouTube, like the video. Let us know what you think about the event. Which livery is your favourite? Mine's McLaren because that's my fucking championship team. It's actually V-Carb. No one gives a fuck. Subscribe. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye. Literally no one cares. Wrap it up.